Suit up, strap in, warm the tires, and leave on yellow. Time for the MitsuTimes podcast. Presented by MitsuTimes.org, the home of the fastest Mitsubishi cars. With your host, Josh.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Josh from MitsuTimes. Today, our special guest is Miguel Melendez. He is the owner and driver of the number 10 Ralliart on our list. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Doing fine and yourself?
I'm great, man. I'm glad to have you on. I feel like the Ralliarts don't get enough love. You kind of got me onto them. I've been, I hate to admit, every time I open up Marketplace, which I do too often, I'm always trying to see if I can find a good deal on one.
There's a few out there.
Yeah, I really like. I'm particular on the wagons. Man, they look so good.
Yeah, me too. The Sportbacks, they're special for sure.
So tell us about your Ralliart as it sits now. What's the setup like?
Right now, it's bright orange and loud. Needs new coilovers, and the fuse for the sub just popped. Yeah, like you said, it's number 10 on the Ralliart list, number 18 on the SST list. The setup is nothing too crazy. It's a modified stock Ralliart turbo by Turbos R Us. All the bolt-ons, manifold, handmade by Strictly Modified, and tuned on 93, and a second map for 100 octane for now.
What made you choose the Turbos R Us turbo as opposed to stepping up to a larger frame turbo? Does Force Performance make their FP green, red, black in that bolt pattern?
Nobody honestly makes a TD04 Ralliart turbo only because the demand for it is low.
Okay.
And more in the gains as far as like dyno numbers are concerned is always just going to be easier to switch over to an Evo X setup.
Okay.
That's how come the Ralliart platform doesn't get as much love, because it's always going to be just easier to modify an Evo X per se.
That being said, what made you choose the Ralliart platform?
You know what? That's going to go back a little bit of history when it starts off with all Ralliart owners having to get chastised by Evo owners, and you should have just got a Ralliart. You should have just got a Ralliart. Oh, it's nothing more than just a glorified base Lancer and whatnot. And seeing the potential out of them made me want to just prove a point to myself and to anybody that has doubts on Ralliart platform. So Turbos R Us, he started offering the hybrids to the community, and talking to Chris Robbins, and seeing what else we can do. He now has about 3 or 4 different options for the tiny single scroll turbo. It really is the smallest turbo available for any 4B out there. And I like being the underdog.
Definitely. I think that's the appeal of the Ralliart for me. And just to clarify, when he said should have just bought a Ralliart, I think he meant to say should have just bought an Evo, because that's what you see in the comments a lot.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Should have just bought an Evo. That line is just thrown out there just for anybody to use, and and in reality, is they're the same, but actually 2 different cars, and they serve different purposes. And in my opinion, when you're gonna throw some money into it, the fact is, if you're on a budget, a Ralliart is a good platform to be on.
Tell us about the car when you bought it. What was it like? Just bone stock?
I bought it back, I think it was late 2010 or 2011, second owner. And yeah, it was bone stock. It was lowered by the previous owner. It had a boost pedal, which is the type of way of modifying the boost controller, and a killer AMS that I didn't know. I didn't know it was on there at first, so I bought it just because I was buying the car itself. I didn't know what was actually done to it, and the dealer didn't either. So from there, it just became a bad habit.
So what were your original goals with this car?
Originally, I wanted a sleeper goal with it. I mean, like a Ralliart is considered the underdog, like I said, but I think I wanted to keep it with original wheels, original color, everything on the exterior. Even the stock exhaust is fine when modifying, and I wanted to give it a really good go with it. You can get 400 or 500 horsepower without even needing to make it look like it does. That was kind of the original goal. It had Recaro seats. It had a Fosgate sound system. It was a good daily driver for a long, long time.
So what different setups have you had in it other than the Turbo RS Turbo that you have now?
Fact is, it was my daily driver. So for the first 6 years of ownership, other than changing the intercooler, the pipes, and modifying the exhaust, I really didn't have it that much into it until it finally broke. The SST gave out on me, and for 4 years, it kind of sat around collecting parts, and I gave it just one major transformation all at once to kind of what it is now. And realistically, the Turbo RS Turbo that's in there now is still the original stock frame. That is the turbo that the car came with. So technically, it's still stock turbo.
Just a 15T with some love?
15T is the original. Yeah, it was removed, and he did his little magic in there. 20T, I think it is, or 20. He calls it a 20T plus or something. It's still it's not even the largest option he has available. He has a 20G available, and supposedly is working on a new one that is supposed to be even better than the other ones available.
What are the strengths and weaknesses of the CY4A platform, the Ralliart?
The most obvious answer to that question is going to be the SST. Everyone has issues with the dual clutch transmission, and this one is extra special. It's got a shift torque magnet flaw that everyone thinks it's related to the clutches or things like that. And there's other aspects of the transmission that can go wrong. And it all falls on proper maintenance and once modifying it, proper tuning goes hand in hand with that, with the maintenance and the health of the transmission. It's super expensive to modify and repair and upgrade, but it's just like other dual clutch transmissions that are out there on other platforms. Once it's done, it's kind of done if you do it right the first time around. And other little things about it is like the ACD pump and the stock brakes on a Ralliart is pathetic. As far as strengths go, I mean, like if you grab a stock Ralliart, you tune it right, 26, 27 pounds pump gas, or even add a little bit of corn into it, you've got already a high 12 car with very little effort, assuming that the clutches can hold. That's kind of it.
Yeah, I was talking to Nathan Gillette from NRG Ops, and he was talking about the SST. He's big into trying to get some fixes for him. And he was talking about, the maintenance like you were saying, and then a lot of it has to do with the tune. That way you can get your clutch pressures together and keep from ripping the trans apart and having an early death. So I think the SST is kind of looked down on, but I think in the very near future, once Nathan gets all this worked out, then I think we're going to see that they're just as capable.
Nathan's a great guy. He's a Ralliart owner himself, and he said it best. People are kind of lazy and don't want to put the effort into it, but want the results right away. And it's assumed that a manual will always outperform an SST when I don't know they can hold more power initially, but an SST will outshift a manual any day.
Yeah,
and all day.
That's exactly what Nathan was saying. There's no way you could shift as fast as that.
Right. But again, it goes into the effort. People are so focused on making raw power and want to do as little as possible to get the results. SST actually forces you to learn about the platform, learn about the mechanics of it. You kind of forced into understanding it better, and once you do, it's a great platform. It's just really expensive.
Yeah. Well, just like Nathan was saying on our podcast a couple of days ago, is that, it's expensive to build the SST, but if you factor in a manual car and replacing the clutches over the lifetime, you're probably going to spend about the same amount of money.
True. It is true.
If you could start all over, and I got a two-part for you on this. Number one, would you choose the Ralliart again? And number two, would you do everything that you've done so far the same?
Would I choose the Ralliart again? Yes, I was looking for one, and I actually found one not too long ago. And I probably should have called first, but I drove out to where it was at. It was a dealer. And I watched as driving into the lot. I watched someone else just bought it driving off the lot.
Oh, man.
And that sucked because it was a Sportback, like you said, and it was octane blue like my car. Very little mods, low mileage, and I really thought I had another one in my hands. Would I do it again? The way that I've done it for this platform, yeah, I probably would. I do believe that my type of setup has great results for a stock block. I don't have intentions of building the block or going that route. But for the Ralliart platform itself, yeah, I do think that the modified Ralliart Turbo and bolt-ons and the route that I took have the best results, and I recommend it for all Ralliart owners to go this route. It's just a smarter route.
This episode of the MitsuTimes podcast is brought to you by Kigley Racing. Kigley Racing is home to the world's quickest and fastest front-wheel drive Mitsubishi. Kigley Racing produces the original 4G63 Beehive valve spring and other exclusive race-proven 4G63 engine and drivetrain components for the DSM and Evo. Kigley's only acceptable quality outcome is the most reliable and highest performing parts and systems on the market. They have been a pioneer in the Mitsubishi performance community for nearly 30 years. They have what you need to make your Mitsubishi fast as well as reliable. Check out all their products at KigleyRacing.com. With the aftermarket support of the Ralliart being few and far between, what motivates you to keep pushing this car, keep going with it?
What motivates me? I've always been into cars. I'm a little older than probably the crowd in general. My first modified car was back in 1994. So I always had something going. This is just the one that I have now. And it's fun. It's not a bad deal. I mean, getting the hard parts done out of the way makes modifying this car easier and staying on top of it. It's a good looking car. It's a really good looking car.
Definitely.
And the, I don't know, best bang for buck, I guess is a good way of saying it.
Yeah, I think that's what made the DSM so popular. Is they were just a great bang for the buck.
Yeah, and that's I think it holds true for most Mitsubishis, with the exceptions of the Evos and the
3000 GT twin turbos.
Yeah, exactly. No.
What are your goals for 2022 with this car? I know you attend a lot of car shows. Usually, taking first place, taking some hardware home. But
Yeah.
as far as racing and quarter mile goals, what are your goals for the rest of this year?
Let's see. For this year, I just got the SSC TCU upgrade from NRG. And it is a complete night and day difference. Even from my setup before, the clutches and the shifting feel amazing. I didn't even think that the car actually does feel different for such an easy mod. As far as track goes, I could make some time to hit up the track. I think it'll do well. Probably a better time than before. Maybe see mid-11s. I'm not sure, but that will depend on the launch.
Because 8, 9, and 10 on the Ralliart list, you guys are jam-packed in there together. I mean, you're not even a tenth of a second apart.
Right, yeah, and on the dyno, my car reads 350 horsepower. And like I said, I love being the underdog because that kind of makes people raise an eyebrow, whereas the guys just slightly above me, with the exception of Zach, they all are over 500 horsepower. So, or over 400 horsepower, sorry. And, and then people try to figure out, how did I get such a good time with such little claimed horsepower? And, some racers got to keep a little bit, some secrets, So this year, if I could find some time and go flex, Devin has any time, I reach him for some flex fuel. I'll probably go back and see what it can do. Ultimately, I'd like to tear down the trans one more time and redo the clutches, get the flex fuel in there, and actually go for that TD04 record, which Zach, I can't pronounce his last name. Zach, he's got the fastest Ralliart TD04 at 11.4. So that is my goal. That's my next goal.
Okay. Do you have any long-term power goals? I know you said you don't want to build the block any. Do you plan on moving from the stock frame turbo?
No, not. I wouldn't do that. Not on this car. I can't. For the last few years, especially on social media, Facebook especially, I couldn't. It felt like a betrayal. I'm known for this platform. I'm known for this setup. I helped create the strictly modified manifold, which is the only one available in the U.S., with the exception of probably a few one-offs here and there. But to turn my back on this platform after everything and all the trash talking that I've done versus bigger builds, I couldn't do that. That's like ultimately it's a personal claim for me. I'll keep it where I'm at, and I'll do the best that I can with this setup, and then I'll call it. Like I said, if I could hit 11.4 and maybe even better, that's kind of where I'm at for me. Yeah.
Is this your first Mitsubishi, or have you had any in the past, or plan to own any more in the future? You're going to get a spare Ralliart?
If I got a spare Ralliart, it'd be fun. This is my first Mitsubishi. There's not a long-winded answer for that one. This is my first Mitsubishi. I wouldn't, if I got any other Mitsubishi, it'd be another Ralliart.
Yeah.
I wouldn't bother with an Evo. I think that their values are at close to the highest they'll be. And since I actually drive my car, even my car now, I I shouldn't, but I daily drive it all the time. It's just so fun. I won't. I don't think I'd get anything else besides that.
If someone out there, they just bought a Ralliart or they own a Ralliart and, they're getting all those comments that we were talking about, like you should have just bought Evo, the SST's garbage, just sell it, get something else, and they're listening to this episode right now, what advice would you give them?
Do the transfers. Get it from Cosmic. Do it once. Do it right. It'll probably be the most important, not only mod upgrade, but it'll actually increase the value of the Ralliart. All jokes aside, they are kind of, they're compact, cheap cars, and adding a Cosmic transmission will definitely increase the value. It just because it's that finicky. Other than that, I mean, I just don't rush into modifying it the wrong way. Make sure you actually get the right parts for it, and know that if you modify any back pressure, change fueling, or anything that changes the map scalings, it will require a new tune. There's a lot of guys out there running the wrong intake or the wrong blow-off diverter, that those things change clutch pressure, and that's I guess you add that to the flaw list where Mitsubishi made it that way. But if you change the wrong part and your car starts to act up, you're gonna blame it on the transmission when actually it's the owner's fault for not properly maintaining or modifying in the proper way.
Speaking of Cosmic, when will there be a new number one on the Ralliart list?
That's everyone's dream to see that number reset. Right now, Cosmic holds the record. I think it's 9-1. It might be 9-1.
9-4.
And 9-4.
Over a second faster than number two.
Yeah, and I guess in the view of where that record stands, it would be on them, actually. It would be on them to actually want to do it and get into the eights. We'd like to see it. I'd love to call out the Australians. They have several high horsepower builds out there, but no one seems to be worried about getting to that next number one. I think it's a big deal. The SST has so much potential and a lot of new parts out there, and the tuning methods have changed with the SST. So are there cars out there capable? Yeah, there's about 3 or 4, probably 5 cars in the U.S. alone that could probably hit 9s easily, but for whatever reason, they haven't done it. I think an 8-9 is very possible with the Cosmic car. I think they're just going to need to want to do it. But being that second and third place, fourth place, and anybody under them isn't even remotely close by a second or more, why bother,
Yeah. I mean, Cosmic's on there twice, one with a stock Evo turbo, so.
Yeah, I think it's the same car.
Yeah, just different color.
It should be the same car in different phases of it, and yeah, they definitely have their own tuning secrets to really get that launch down hard, really hard, and but they're my go-to people, Fran, Eric, David. They're really good people. They've got it all down packed and everything. There's a lot of imitators out there that try, claim, and undercut the FST, but those people are not dedicated. The other shops out there, it's cash grab, and they, with the exception of the Australians, I give it to them. They are out there all alone,
right?
And they're getting it done. And I root for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't try to around talking to anybody. There's the regular racer trash talking that well, is fun, but at the end of the day, any success for the SST is success for everyone.
I know that shop in Australia, the RP Motorsports, they looks like they've been building those SST2s. They also sponsor the SST page, so I guess that's how the Australians are getting it done.
Yeah, there's a couple of shops out there. They take it real serious. And I've learned that over the years. They take the Ralliart and the ST platform real serious. RP is one of the top dogs. AK Racing's another one. There was a few other out there that had some fast cars and then fell off or disappeared for whatever reason. I wouldn't know, but those guys are nuts. They take it real serious at the track and yeah, I guess online it counts. At the end of the day, results matter. On the dyno at the track. Once you could build something and back it up, that's what makes it the thrill, the fun.
Absolutely. What events do you plan to attend this year that somebody can come out and either see your car in action or see at one of these car shows?
Car shows. What do I got lined up next? I'd have to look at the calendar. I know that I did World of Wheels and Import Face Off. Import Face Off was fun, as outdoors and everything. They're coming back in October. You'll probably see me there. There's a couple of smaller shows that I'm keeping a lookout for. I'd like to eventually make it out to the shootout. That's in the Midwest here, and but family time and things like that make it hard to make that trip and make it worth it to go out there. I'd like to get the car up to par, and I'm not going to the track right now the way it is because I already know what the results are. I'm at the same level I was at the time of hitting my 11.8 or 11.85 or whatever it is up there. So if I can find time and maybe do the flex fuel tune, I'd probably go at the end of the year before the track closes on this setup to see how it does.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with everything back together, I'm excited to see if it jumps up to number 8. So is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to for help getting the car where it is and help keeping it going?
Oh, definitely. First one that gets all the credit is gonna be my wife. She hit the title from me, and I can't find the title to sell the car if I wanted to. So she did that years ago to make sure that we kept it around. She actually bought a bunch of stuff that's on there right now. So she gets more credit than I do because I've given up 3, 4, 5 times on this car. There's a lot of people that have their hands on this build. Club Spec is going to be first, build all the Ralliart parts and Ralliart specific parts that made the engine bay what it is and the car what it is. I've got probably 90% of everything he's ever built, so that he gets a lot of credit for the way my car is built now. Turbos are us for having probably the best Ralliart turbo in the world. There's a lot of people that copy him, imitate and try, and they can't do what he does. So he strictly modified for actually helping me out to make the manifold that never existed. It was not even available, and he came through and built something, and then now it's on full market with the downpipe options, and and the pieces are amazing. Just go online and take a look at him. It's to being one of the few options. It's a showstopper. Devin for his magic on the keyboard. And congratulations to Boostin' team for hitting the 6s, but at the same time, he is the best and one of the only ones that tune the Ralliart platform in the Midwest. He gets all the credit for that. And that's it, friends and family, Solo Riders Car Club, things like that, for being there at the car shows and things like that. And that's kind of it for now.
Awesome. Well, man, I know we've talked a lot on Facebook and Instagram, so it's good to finally talk to you in person. I appreciate you coming on, and I hope that if you're out there listening with the Ralliart, take your car to the track. Let Miguel be an inspiration to you. Stock frame turbo, take your car out to the track. Doesn't matter, bone stock, take it out to the track. Don't be scared.
That's right.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, man, and hope to hear from you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Thank you for listening to the MitsuTimes podcast. Check out our Instagram and Facebook for daily updates. Get added to our list by going to MitsuTimes.org and clicking Submit a Slip. Thank you to all of our sponsors.